Today we're looking at the Ulanzi VL49 RGB LED light. Now this is a small, tiny LED light, which is RGB LED light geared towards video creators. Let's get into it. So this is a super budget-friendly RGB video light. It allows you to basically attach it on top of a camera, or it has a whole lot of different mounts where you can use for your videos. I think you can use it as like a key light or a fill light if you're in a pinch. Basically, I guess these are geared towards product lighting. That's how I use these lights, or just have like accent lights. So if you can change the color and you can increase the brightness and just have it on the side, it's just not showing up on the camera, but you can still have those cool little lights. The color temperature goes from 2500 Kelvin, which is the warmest side of things, to 9000 Kelvin, which is the coolest light. Daylight is around 5600 Kelvins. The number of LEDs are 60, so there are 60 LEDs. My guess is that 60 includes like both warm and white LEDs, so there are like 30 pairs, if I'm not wrong. Maybe, don't quote me on that. It has a CRI of 95 plus. Beam angle, which I guess is a typo, is beam angle, which is 60 degrees. Brightness is 800 lux at half a meter. Lightning distance is 5 meters. Battery is 2000 milliamps, so it has a decent amount of battery in there. The maximum output can run you at 2 hours, so you can keep it at maximum brightness at 2 hours, 10 hours at lowest output. Let's see what comes in the box. The box contained documentation, and it also contained a USB-A to USB-C cable. Now, in terms of the form factor, it is a different form factor as compared to the Aputure MC. As you can see here, it is a different kind of build and what it looks like in terms of the shape. The MC has a much larger surface area for light, while the Ulanzi has a much smaller square-ish light. All the controls are at the back. So from right to left, we have a toggle button. This is a switch to turn the light on and off. Then we have a function button. This will allow us to switch between the color and the brightness, and if you tap and hold, then you can switch between different effects. Then you have two buttons that have arrows left and right. These are your adjustment buttons. These will allow you to actually change those values, the colors and the brightness. And then finally you have a USB-C port. On top of these buttons, it's just a sticker on top. Behind it, it has this LCD panel, which is good because you can visually see what you're doing, what function you're changing. Let's just turn it on, and then once you turn it on, you can see that by default, I mean in my case, I have the CCT mode selected. You can see the battery status on the right hand side, and then you have the 5600 Kelvin on the left and 20% on the right. I can click the function button to toggle between those two. If I select the 5600 Kelvin, I can change it by keep pressing the adjustment button. I can go from all the way from 2500 Kelvin to the maximum, which is the 9000 Kelvin, so which is pure white light. I can tap and hold the function button to get to the HSI. The first option is the hue and saturation, which is the measured by the degrees. In terms of colors, I think they're okay. I don't have a tool that allows me to measure the color accuracy of this. I mean, for an average YouTuber like me who makes videos like this, rough around the edges, like in my case, it's not just the edges, the whole videos are rough, then I think these should be okay. Now, as I mentioned earlier, that you can use this light as key light in a pinch, and as you can see here that I'm using a couple of these lights and it does look adequate, and I'm not using any other light in front of me. So this is the cop car effect, and this is what it looks like. This is the ambulance effect, and this is what it looks like. This is the fire engine effect, and this is what it looks like. This is the emergency effect, and this is what it looks like. This is the fireworks effect, and this is what it looks like. This is the TV effect, and this is what it looks like. This is the party effect, and this is what it looks like. This is the HSI slow effect, and this is what it looks like. This is the HSI fast effect, and this is what it looks like. This is the RGB strobe, and this is what it looks like. This is the red flash, and this is what it looks like. This is the green flash, and this is what it looks like. And finally, this is the blue flash, and this is what it looks like. Let's talk about the things that I like about this. So for starters, the price. It is a relatively cheaper light. It's a budget-friendly light. I mean, the only other light that I can compare this with is the Aputure MC, which is a rather not a cheap light. This is a much budget-friendly option as compared to the Aputure MC. The other things that I like about it, it has tactile buttons. One of the things that I wasn't a huge fan of, which is like the Aputure MC has this rotary button, or I don't know what to call it. It just doesn't feel satisfying much, and it feels like it might break or something. But in this case, these cheap plastic buttons, although are cheap, they do work fine, and I don't think they will break anytime soon. The other thing is the form factor and the lightweightedness. You can chuck it in your bag, you can put it on your camera like that, and this is where I will get to my next thing that I like about it, is the attachments. You can see it has all sorts of attachment options on the top and the sides and at the bottom that allows you to attach the light on different cold shoe mounts, and it has the 1/4 inch mounting thread as well, so which is awesome because now you don't need anything extra to mount the light, as opposed to the MC that does have a 1/4 inch mount, does have stronger magnets, but you can't just take the light and put it on a camera. You need to have some sort of something to attach it by. In case of this, it just works. Now the things that I don't like about this. Although it does have a magnet, the magnet is underneath this plastic. It has a single magnet, a weaker magnet behind the plastic, which means that it doesn't seem as strong as compared to the Aputure MC. So it feels a lot weaker. I wouldn't be confident for the light to stay put when I attach it on a metal surface, as opposed to an Aputure MC, which you could just hear the loud clang, and that is because of how strong the magnets are, and you have to pull really strongly as opposed to single weaker magnet on the Ulanzi. The other thing that I don't like about it is the construction quality. It's all around plastic, but it's just the cheaper plastic. And the other thing is that the frame coloring don't really match the top and the sides. Maybe it's a manufacturing fault or it is by design. I have no idea. Another thing that you have to keep in mind that this does not have an app, as opposed to an Aputure MC that you can install a Sidus Link app on your phone, and then you can have multiples of these lights and mix and match with other Aputure lights that support the app, and then you can control all the lights in a single place, as opposed to the Ulanzi where you don't have an app, so you have to rely on the physical buttons, which to be honest is not the worst thing in the planet. Like, you can just turn it on and then you can adjust it the way you want it to. As long as it's handy around near you or somewhere you can physically touch, then you should be okay. And I guess that's about it. These are the things that I wanted to talk about before I kind of use it a little more, because at the moment I wanted to make a review on it, but then I realized that I haven't even used it enough to talk about it, like, because I don't know how long this will last in terms of the plastic. I have no idea about the battery. They say you can use it for 2 hours at max output and 10 hours in low output. I haven't tested it, so I will have to do that before I can talk about more about this light. But so far I'm impressed because of the price and because how it kind of does what it says in the box so far, apart from the battery that I haven't tested yet. So this video is not sponsored. I've purchased these lights with my own money. Just wanted to make a quick impressions video for this week. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions regarding this light, or if you have any other questions or topics that you want to suggest. And yeah, oh, by the way, I made a video on the Aputure MC almost a year ago, and I'll be putting that under the description. So yeah, check that out as well, or maybe just click here somewhere that just click here. All right, catch you later. Cheers.